Yes, indeed. So after that cuteness level 10, we're going to delve into languages right now. Our different cultures and our languages lend themselves to the different ways in which we think and we live, and certainly in which we engage with each other. Now, we're connecting with social worker Karen Bodnost to chat a little bit about the benefits of learning a new language, especially when it comes to our little ones. Karen, a very good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Graham.
So, Karen, I would just like to start off with, I know growing up, learning a new language, it was just so enchanting. You know, my pops knew German fluently, and the way he came home with a new word like "wie geht's," it was like, hey, how do we do this? And I think there was something that I was drawn to as a young kid. But what are the benefits of learning a new language, especially for a child?
Yes, guys, learning a new language has really been proved and shown to enhance a child's and a person's cognitive functioning. And that's our brain power. And this includes functions like problem-solving skills. It improves verbal and spatial abilities. And it also enhances our creative thinking capacity. When we learn a new language, it also helps us with memory, because we must memorize new vocabulary. And this makes our brain very flexible, but it also has social and psychological advantages. It improves our attitudes towards the target language and the culture, because when I learn a new language, I also learn the culture of the language, and this brings us a better understanding and connection with people. What is life about? It's all about relationships. And when I can speak your language, that builds better relationships. And it makes me feel more confident, and it enhances my self-esteem.
So feeding off that, then it seems that it would be logical that it would give you an advantage in your future. If we fast forward from, obviously, the early childhood development, where it clearly has massive benefits, it would surely also be of advantage in the future in the job market.
Yeah, for sure. I think the continual globalization of the world's economy is bringing diverse cultures and communities into more fluent contact with each other. And I think the ease of global travel, although not these days, but when we could travel a lot, and also the internet have collapsed the barrier of distance that once kept the world's community separate. And I think employers and businesses are really seeking applicants that can navigate the modern global economy. And they seek applicants who can navigate. And I think through learning another language, students can really develop these skills. And just to put it simply, language learning is necessary for students to effectively function in the modern global marketplace.
I love that.
True say. Now, when it comes to us navigating a language, early childhood development requires us to learn things like English, Afrikaans, our sort of staple languages of whatever country we are in. So when is the best time to get started and teach your child a new language? And would this perhaps conflict with the foundation languages that one would learn at school?
Yeah, there's a lot of research that has been done, and they say that the ability to learn a new language, at least grammatically, is strongest until the age of 18, after which it becomes more difficult. But I think to completely get fluent in a language, learning should start before the age of 10 years.
Wow. I've heard before that a child under the age of 3 can pick up something like 4 different languages, that the brain is just a sponge and it's wired to do that. Can it not be a little overwhelming to teach your child more than one language at a time, or is the young brain just equipped for that?
Yeah, my opinion is that I think a child must learn a mother tongue until the age of 3. just to settle that language and to confirm that language. And then the child's got a good vocabulary. And when you talk about chair, the child knows what you are talking about. And then after the age of 3, I think it's very practical and good to start introducing the child into another language.
Okay.
I think these are pearls of wisdom that anybody would love to grab onto, because, I mean, we all want our kids to be as developed and as advanced as they can be, but of course we don't want to overwhelm them too much. So we will continue the conversation in the next couple of moments, and if it is a matter of you teaching your kid a new language at home, I think it's something worthwhile to stick around for, as Karen Badenhorst joins us for part 2 in the next couple of moments.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked on this Wednesday morning. A little bit earlier in the show, we connected with social worker Karen Badenhorst to chat about the benefits of learning a new language. And from that discussion, we've gleaned that there are many, for young and for old. We are continuing that very important conversation right now. Karen, welcome back.
Thank you.
So when you left us, Karen, of course, we chatted about the cognitive development and the great advantages you can give your kid if you are going to teach them a new language. We also chatted a bit about the best time to do the language development, and that is before 10 years old, which is very, very fascinating. But let's talk a bit about, moving forward. Now, does it get harder to learn a new language the older you get? And how challenging is it if you are going to be a bit older trying to pick up something new like that?
Or a lot older.
Yeah, we're asking for a friend.
Yeah, guys, the average adult do struggle in a language class, and it would be easier to start when you are a young. But an adult can learn a new language. It all depends on the time they have available, how much they read about the new language, talk about the new language, and also hear the new language.
Okay.
The positives of adult learning is that we as adults have longer attention spans, and we also have the crucial skill of literacy that allows us to continually expand our vocabulary. So it's easier, but it's also not so easy.
Look, I don't know about the attention span in the case of us two, but but certainly in terms of the literacy. How should parents approach then introducing a new language to their children? Why is it so important to make the process fun? I mean, it obviously seems obvious, but why would you recommend that you make it a fun exercise and not a grueling lesson?
Yeah, learning a new language must be enjoyable for the child, and the child must learn a new language without even knowing it. So let's start with a few ideas that you can do in your home. And I would say from the age, as we said earlier, 3 years old, I think is a very good age. And I just want to add here that when you've got an emotional bond with your child, it makes the learning process just so much easier. So let's start with the first technique, and that is through repetition. Children learn through repetition and active engagement with another language. And you can simply start by greeting them in the morning in your home language, and then also you can repeat it in the second language. And start with small words like thank you and please. Especially for the smaller child. And then you can move to objects like a toothbrush or apple or chair. And then you can apply this repetition technique at home by doing some activities with your child. So if you are making him a sandwich, you can say the words in English, I am making you a sandwich, and then you can repeat that in the language that you want to teach your child. And then later, for instance, you can do activities like when you make a train out of an air carton, you can emphasize the vocabulary for the train and the wheels and various colors in English. And then at a later stage, you can repeat those same words in the second language. Another technique that we can use is when you talk to your child, use big gestures and physical demonstrations. Non-verbal communication means a lot to a child, and it also helps the child to learn new vocabulary and comprehend the language.
Great.
And then have your child spend time with a native speaker. Contact a bilingual family member or some friends or a neighbor or a caretaker who can spend time with your child. Set up play dates or excursions in which the person can speak to your child in the target language. And here we let the child experience a second language. Another way is to find media in the other language. Let your children watch TV shows, DVDs, movies in other languages. And this is a wonderful way to learn new languages. Also find music in a foreign language and listen it with your child together. It's a very fun activity, and it also strengthens your bond and your relationship. And the last one that I want to share with the viewers is there's so many kid-friendly language learning software that we can download and that we can introduce our children to learn the language. I've got the last one, and that is learn the language together. When adults enroll, when adults enroll into classes for a new language, I know this is time consuming and it takes, it's a long route to go, but you can make this a team effort. You can do adult courses, you can master language, and then you can slowly teach that language to your child. And once you incorporate language learning into your child and your routine, it's very likely that you would see new linguistic and cognitive development from your child.
And you can start on a whole brand new journey yourself. I absolutely love that. Karen, some sage advice. Thank you so much. Really, really getting excited about the idea. I've got 2 young kids at the perfect age to start introducing new languages. So very excited about starting that journey myself. But you've been great this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Nkosi, Kiavonga, Pae Danki, gracias. So with a diverse population like South Africa's, the pros of being multilingual are endless, speaking of which Cadbury Dairy Milk are trying to create and inspire with stories in all 11 South African languages through their hashtag In Our Own Words initiative.